We back with another reflection on the Daily Vedantic, and today's reflection is on the wombs of sorrow. This is a phrase that refers to all of our external pursuits in life. And it is a 3-word phrase I never heard, never considered before studying this philosophy. Wombs of sorrow. We naturally think of wombs as the incubation of something beautiful, birth, life. But this phrase, applying to our outside external pursuits, it applies to things that we think are good, but it is creating the inevitable hangover that we are going to feel. We feel a jolt of energy, and yet what we're doing is creating the conditions for a dissipation of energy on the other side. A negative, as you could say. Wombs of sorrow. Last episode, we talked about modern myths that the world wants us to believe. The modern myth is that happiness is outside of us. It is only attained outside of us. On mountaintops, some purchase of some amazing house right by the water, brand new car, brand new job, that those are the places where happiness exists. And yet we all know that happiness is a state of being within ourselves. Schopenhauer said it best when he said, happiness is difficult to find within ourselves, but impossible to find anywhere else. That nails it on the head. Happiness cannot be bought. Whatever feeling of joy we get from purchasing things, from getting that promotion, from seeing our name in the newspaper, those joys are not only fleeting, but those are the wombs of sorrow. Much like the addict that thinks joy is in that bottle, only to have a person's entire life go into that bottle with them. To wake up with that insane hangover after that night of indulgence. Many of us know that feeling. I know that feeling. But that night, that entire experience was the womb for which the sorrow the next morning was born. Wombs of sorrow. What a concept. And the profundity of that concept is that the sorrow that we feel, that we find ourselves in, we could have seen the night before, a mile before, years before. By recognizing when it is an impermanent joy, an impermanent external pursuit, it is inevitably a womb of sorrow. And this actually ties to one of our recent episodes where we talked about this knowledge bomb within this philosophy, that which is sweet in the beginning is like poison in the end, and that which is like poison in the beginning is sweet in the end. When something hits your lips, hits your mind, and it just feels saccharine and sweet, maybe create some elbow room. Take a step back and see, is this a womb of sorrow? Is this indulgence just going to have a price that doesn't make it worth it right on the other side? Is it just too expensive for real consideration? Right action and wrong action within Vedanta, they're very simple. There aren't any shoulds or shouldn'ts. There are no shouts or shout nots. There's no edict of commandments. Right action is that which generates energy within you. Wrong action is that which dissipates energy within you. When you combine these two principles, it's this beautiful litmus test of, okay, is this sweet right in the beginning? It probably is going to dissipate my energy. Versus, okay, is this a little bit bitter in the beginning? Maybe that's a womb of energy, of joy on the other side. As Swami says all the time at the ashram, nothing feels as good as doing what you ought to do. As good as we all have thought in our lives, as good as we have all thought it feels to do what we shouldn't do. Maybe it's worth reflecting, kicking the tires, questioning, is there any truth to the phrase, nothing feels as good as doing what we ought to do? Is that where energy generation lies? Instead of energy dissipation. Instead of what might feel good in the moment, but is just a womb of sorrow. That's today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.